What's going on, beautiful people? Jesse Moon Helen to you from Carrollton, Texas, and I have my beautiful wife alongside me today. And she's Helen to us. Where are you from, honey? Where you at?
Frisco, Texas. Not
Frisco,
too far.
Texas. You know the crazy thing about Frisco is Frisco was rated the number one safest city to live in America. It was also rated the number one wealthiest city in America. It's a crazy thing, right? So
Crazy that we ended up here? No, I think we planned for that.
I think it's pretty crazy, babe. So talk to us today. We're only going to be on here for about 20, 25 minutes. But today, what I want to do is I want to shed a little bit of light for people on couples in business. I know just some of the statistics, 70% of middle class America, they currently live paycheck to paycheck. And I truly believe in people. And I believe that everybody was born to win, that everybody was born to succeed. And I feel like people naturally want to win and want to do something else, but they feel like they have the golden handcuffs on and they feel stuck. I believe they want to win. Honey, I just don't think they know what questions to ask. They don't know where to go to get the information. And it's what is it? Paralysis by analysis. So they're overthinking, therefore they just never do anything. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that it can definitely feel a little bit overwhelming when you're thinking about, okay, I would like to go into business or I would like to be free. But you just don't have a mentor or somebody in your corner that has experienced that or gone through that themselves. So that's why I feel like mentorship, number one, that's like a cheat code. Obviously, if you want to go into business together as couples, you want to make sure that you have a mentor that's doing it with their spouse, because that's how if they're doing it, they can teach you how to do the same thing. And overthinking, I think a lot of people don't really understand that there's such a thing called hybrid entrepreneurship, where
Ooh.
you can be working full time, but you're also building your business part time. And so just because the word though says part time doesn't mean that your activity or that you're giving part-time effort, if that makes sense. Like you're full-time effort, but part-time hours. Because I know that I got started when I was teaching full-time in my PhD program, and we have 7 kids. And so even though my hours were part-time, my efforts were full-time. And
Ooh.
so I think that's why I'm super grateful for our company, the way it's structured, that we do have mentors and people who are exactly where we are. So that's my little piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a kind of different take when it comes to part time. I believe that the 9 to 5 is to pay the bills because you're never going to know what financial freedom is. There's a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And what he says in there, he says that if you are a W-2 employee, you're never going to know what financial freedom is.
Right.
He says, and the reason why is because throughout your entire working career, your accumulation life, 51% of all the money you bring home goes to the government in the form of taxes. So you're never going to know what true financial freedom is. Okay. So the only way that you can know what true financial freedom is to read another book by a gentleman named Sandy Bakken. That book is called How to Lower Your Taxes. Okay. Now, Sandy Bakken was the number one CPA in America for the FBI and the IRS. And the very first chapter, honey, think about this. The very first chapter of that book says, you would be brain dead not to start a home-based business.
Yep.
Let me say it again. You would be brain dead not to start a home-based business. Why? Because he understands that on the W-2 side of the house, you're paying the most amount of taxes. So you're taking money out of your family's pocket. But if you add a business part-time, spare time, some of the time, now you're able to participate in different tax deductions that the wealthy partake in, and it's going to offset the taxes you're paying on the W-2 side of the house. I don't care, honey, if they're selling T-shirts out of the trunk of their car. We live in America, the land of opportunity. You have to start a business if you ever want to know what financial freedom is, guys. But anyway.
And I think what I love so much is that we've been doing this for so long, and our oldest son, is going to school full-time, and he's part-time in the business or full-time in the business with us. But he's been making money passively on his YouTube channel. Why? Because even at that young age, he understood that he needed to make additional income, or at least when he was younger, that was his only income. But once you learn the rules of the money game and you really start to speak that language, then you forever know, hey, I can always make money. And I feel like a lot of people, in America kind of take for granted that we are here, and they don't really fully maximize their income potential, because your salary is what somebody pays you, but the income that you generate is based on you and what you do.
100%. And the crazy thing is to go back to what you said before, you were a high school teacher. I remember when we first met. So for those of you that don't know me, I spent 16 years in the military, and my story is kind of like a lot of people. After 16 years, I felt overworked and underpaid. I did everything they told me to do. I went and got 2 master's degrees, but my bank account did not reflect my work ethic. And I set my wife down. I said, honey, if I ever want to get paid what I'm worth, I have to become a business owner or an entrepreneur. Because listen, every successful person that I ever met, they were either a business owner or an entrepreneur. But I told her, I said, I don't know the first thing about business. I don't know the first thing about entrepreneurship. So I was naturally terrified, because in the military, we get a guaranteed paycheck on the 1st and the 15th. So that uniform, honey, it was a blanket of comfort. So, and it holds a lot of soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors trapped, because they like the benefits. They like the paycheck on the 1st and the 15th, that guaranteed pay, right? And then we go into entrepreneurship, and I'm like, I'm just an old soldier in this big old world, but I was willing to be coachable and teachable. And that all we had to do was find a good coach, and we had to find a good system that we could learn and duplicate. Okay. A proof of concept, not a theory. I see a lot of people out there, honey, they're saying, well, if I do this, it'll work out this way, but it's not a proof of concept.
Right.
So that's why a lot of businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years, because it's not a proof of concept. We have a proof of concept here, and we're a proof of concept by what we did, having no business experience, having no financial experience, and now we're crushing it here in this industry. But the thing is when I got started in this industry, honey, you had your own journey. You supported me in business, but you didn't want to partake in the business. So it's like, honey, I support you. You go do your thing. I'm on this journey. I'm getting my master's degree. I'm halfway through my PhD in forensic psychology. I'm going to do this, this, and this. What flipped the switch for you to say, you know what, honey, let's do business together?
Well, honestly, I think it goes back to what you were saying previously, is that you don't know what you don't know, right? What questions to ask. And so when we were presented with the information, the education about how many works, how many grows, and how to really make it work for you, I was realizing in the route that I was in, I was going to be constantly chasing money. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to constantly have to chase money. I want my money to work for me and come to me. And so when I saw this information, and I'm thinking, I'm at this PhD level, which is right the food chain, top of the food chain of education, and I have never heard this information. How many more people like me and my family have never heard this information? And so I saw the value in what we do for families. And so from an educator standpoint, it just made sense that we need to educate more families. Because imagine, how many more families will stay together when that financial pressure is off? How many more parents will be able to actually be active and be involved in their kids and not having to work 2 and 3 jobs? Because right now, especially with the inflation, you have parents that are never there. Kids don't see their parents at all. Some can't afford, like, let's say, a daycare or after school care. So kids are staying home all hours in nighttime. So my whole thing was just making an impact, providing the education, empowering these families to take back control. And that's why I wanted to be a part of it. And of course, you were making your own schedule. You were having lunch with me and our daughter, every day. And then you were making double my salary. So it just made sense.
That's crazy. Yeah, my wife, I remember the days when I would take you to school. That was our time together, right? So I would drop you off at work, and you were on a Monday morning, you were already counting down the days till Friday evening. I said, what type of life is that? And then having to deal with, like, teachers nowadays, they're parents. Like, they have to parent the kids, not teach the kids. It's the craziest thing that parents plug them into electronics, and there's no core values in the home anymore. But that's a topic for a different episode. But she came home. She said, it's not fair. I said, what's not fair? She said, we bought you a dog. So we went out and bought me a husky. It was a 6-week-old husky. And she said, "You're working out twice per day and you're making more money than me." I said, "Honey," I said, "don't hate the player. Don't hate the game." I said, "Learn the game so you could be a player in the game." I said, "Join me in business." That was a Wednesday. We submitted her letter of resignation that Friday. And we've been rocking it till the wheels fall off ever since. So we got 20 years of arguments out in the first 12 months. So we're right at 8 years of marriage. So we're going to be married for the rest of our life. That's the craziest thing because we already got all the arguments out of the way. Right? Right, babe? Right?
Never argue, babe. Never.
That's right.
It's perfect.
Let me know in the comments. Do you argue? Do you argue? So, but with that being said, I know tonight we're going to be hosting a virtual opportunity meeting just for people to learn a little bit more about who we are as a company, what we do, our team, our culture, our environment. Because is it fair to say that we're looking to build a massive team of power couples, of killers, of even if you're individual and you're a killer out there and you want to become a Titan, we're looking for you guys because there's a lot of people out there. We're in the financial industry, and there's a lot of people out there that are currently, as I'm talking right now, they're praying for an opportunity to make some additional money. They're praying for a financial tourniquet to stop the bleeding inside their retirement accounts. And this industry and the insurance industry, we don't have enough agents to educate middle-class America. Therefore, you see the rise in GoFundMe accounts and barbecue chicken place sales. So we're looking to recruit, train, and develop new agents in this industry. And I know we love power couples. We love power couples, guys, because what is the statistics of like divorce when we're dealing with like couples and couples who run a business together and couples who don't run a business together?
So sadly, we know that in marriages across the U.S., it's 50% couples that get married, they end up in divorce. Even our pastors were saying that today that Christian families are looking more like non-Christian families, right? Because we know about divorce. But less than 6% of couples get divorced when they're building a business together. And I honestly believe that it has a lot to do with, shared goals and values. Couples who are building a business together have shared goals and values that they're working towards. So they're able to have great conversations, communication, decision making, and because marriage is about decision making, right? Actions, making the decision, sticking to that decision and commitment that you made, even when the feelings aren't quite there. Because sometimes your spouse will annoy you, but you have shared goals and vision.
Never.
That you're building towards. And so that's like the primary focus, right? You're focusing your energy on the positive. Mutual support. When, you guys are building a business together, you have that mutual support of one another and accomplishing your goals, accomplishing the mission. And so I feel like that brings such a different kind of connection to a couple because yes, you fell in love with the person, that's emotions. But then when you can align with somebody on your goals and you're their biggest supporter, every spouse wants their partner to support them in business or in their goals. And so when you guys are fighting together, I just believe that brings an extra connection that others don't have, better balance, because you guys are building a business together. You guys get to really manage your schedule. So like you and I have this thing, if we're not having dinner at home with the kids because we know that our schedules are crazy, we'll make sure that morning we're having family breakfast. And so because our kids know what our vision or goals are for our future, they completely bought into this. We dictate our own schedule. And just because we don't have dinner together, we're having breakfast together, we're working out together, right? So we get to really create our schedule. Legacy. So building your business together creates a legacy that couples can pass down to their kids. So we know that our kids, we sit down together, we have our shared visions, our dreams of what our future is going to look like. And then that's really transformed the kids in talking about their vision, their dreams, how they're going to fit into the overall vision. And so I think that's that's just everything, right? Legacy. And of course, more financial security because you're taking control of your income. You don't have to worry about, man, I only make $4,000 a month. I'm capped this month. I can't, the kids out on an extra outing, or I can't, buy an extra gift or whatever. When you're building a business, now you know that your income is dictated by you. So you know how to get there for what you need.
100%. So what was the divorce rate for couples in business together, like building something of significance alongside one another?
Less than 6%.
What's it? What for all my couples watching this? For all my people who are married with a significant other, a spouse, what does this tell you? You got to start something together. And why that's so important for us, honey, is even though we're building the same business together, my why for this business is different than your why for this business.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the same long-term vision, the same long-term goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
If that makes sense to you guys watching this, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Does that make sense? We have different whys, but we have the same vision for the result that we're looking to seek 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Okay. And ultimately, that's legacy, that's impact, that's a life of significance. See, remember this, a life of success is about us. A life of significance is about everybody else. And there's a gentleman by the name, the late and great Zig Ziglar. He says that if you want to become successful in your life, all you have to do is help enough other people become successful. The more people you help succeed, the more success you're going to have. And the moment I heard that, I said, man, you got to be kidding me. I like helping people. I just got to help them become successful. And now in return, I'll be successful. I'm like, shoot, I can do that. Where do we get started? Right. So the thing about couples in business is, what would you say to someone, honey? Let's say a stay-at-home mom out there, because I know this is a hot topic. You've been posting on Facebook here lately, and you've been getting some whiners and complainers. I'm talking about men out there, like emotional men out there whining and complaining and coming and trying to tell you that you're wrong. But women who, let's say they're stay-at-home moms. Let's say you were a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. Now, let's say they're stay-at-home moms, but they want to add a little bit of value to the household, take a little bit of that financial pressure off the man's back. What would you say to that woman watching this right now on steps that she could take to actually be able to do that?
I think one of the biggest things too, when people are looking into business, is industry. So before getting started, I wouldn't have known that industry matters, but then the pandemic happened. And a lot of people lost their way to make money, right? So first, figure out the industry that's going to be recession and pandemic proof. Figure out, what's going to be the most bang for your buck, I would say, right? What's going to be able to provide you the most type of income that you can maximize for your time, and really just take that leap of faith. I think a lot of people get really scared because they've never tried something. But for me, the scariest thing was, man, what if I were in the same position and never moving forward, never making progress, always in that struggle life, right? So industry matters. You have to make sure recession and pandemic proof. I'm going through it again. You got to make sure that it's an industry that pays well. That's a needs-based, not wants-based. And of course, just taking that leap of faith on yourself. Like, I think the scariest thing is regret, and regretting that you didn't get started sooner is a big one, right? Because you don't know how much time you have, and you really the years are going to pass. Just do it. Put that foot forward and just get started.
That's it. And if you guys have any questions about whether it be a home-based business, work from home, how to partner with your couple in business, feel free to reach out to us. Shoot us a direct message or DM. I'm kind of like, I'm old school in my language, guys. DM me, right? It's a direct message. Is that right, babe?
Yes, you're right.
I'm old school. I like to shake hands, sit down, kneecap to kneecap, telephone calls. I don't like the text message stuff. But shoot us, either it be me, whether it be my wife, Cindy Moon, shoot us a DM and ask us questions, whatever's on your mind, guys. We want to help bring value to you guys. We want to help live a life of significance and make an impact in this world, because 70% of middle class America is currently struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. And this is the thing that's on my heart, guys. We're fed into this education system that says, go to school, get a job, work for 40 hours per week for 40 years for 40% retirement. But if 70% of America is living paycheck to paycheck on 100% of their income, what makes you think you're going to live your best life on 40% of your income? In what world does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. Does that make sense to you? And if so, what world are you living in? Because I want to move there. Okay. The number one cause for death in America is heart attacks. Over 60% of heart attacks occur on a Monday morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Heart attacks are caused from stress and anxiety. We're training 5 days per week for 2 days off. The stress and anxiety of having to go back to work, a job we don't like, to make money to fund a lifestyle we're not happy with, is literally killing us. And yet we don't make changes because if we don't clock in and clock out, the lights might get turned off. If we don't clock in and clock out, there may not be food on the table. Therefore, we're handcuffed there for the rest of our life. And you robbed yourself of who you could have been in this life. You never reached the next best version of yourself. I want to give you guys an opportunity to actually reach the next best version of yourself. If you're willing to be coachable and teachable and learn a new skill set, we can do some big things and make big impact in this world, guys. Honey, I know you have to run, but I just want to thank each and every one for hopping on with us for a few minutes, guys. If you found value from this, we just ask that you like it, that you share it, and go follow us on TikTok. We just started what was it? You want to tell them about that?
Yeah, we started a couples TikTok, The Real Moons. So make sure you go on there, you follow, you love the videos, because our goal is to start going live there together as well, and to just add value to the power couples looking to do big things.
That's it. All right. With that being said, guys, y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Thanks, babe.
Bye. Bye, honey.